Today, we're talking about Social Security. It is a very important piece to the retirement puzzle, but there are quite a few factors that you want to consider when you make the decision, because it is a very important decision that will last for the remainder of your life. So, today, we're going to talk about full retirement age, how the benefits are calculated on when you decide to claim, if you're still working and you're collecting Social Security at the same time, how that works, and then Social Security taxes. First, let's talk about the full retirement age. The full retirement age for Social Security is different than Medicare. Medicare is age 65. Social Security is based on when you're born. For most people, it's 67 years old right now. If you were born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67. Why does full retirement age matter? It matters because mostly if you are claiming Social Security and you're still working, then they may begin reducing your benefits during those years until you hit full retirement age. We'll get into that more here soon. There's a few other factors on how the benefit is calculated based on your age, but the main one I think is working while you're taking it and before full retirement age. Permanent reduction for Social Security. Let's make this simple. There's formulas, okay, 5/9 of 1% per month for the first 36 months, then 5/12 of 1% for the next handful of months. Essentially, let's say your full retirement age is 67 and you decide to claim at the earliest age. So you can claim at 62 to 70 at any point. You can actually claim past 70, but you don't grow after that. So I probably wouldn't do that. But if you claim at 62, that's the earliest age you can, you'll get about a 30% reduction off of your full benefit amount. So then it comes into play, okay, how long am I going to live? If I want to spend more now, there's break even points, but be aware that if you decide to claim early, that's a permanent reduction. Then there's working while you take Social Security. Here's a big one that people don't know is the rule. So they're still working. They're 62, 3, 4, 65. They decide to take Social Security and they're still working. How this works is in 2025, if you make more than $23,400, they are going to reduce your Social Security benefit $1 for every $2 that you're over. Then the year you reach full retirement age is 1 for 3. Now, you do get that money back later in life throughout the payments as long as you live long enough. You want to be aware of this because if you're taking Social Security and you're working, you're getting taxed on both of those. It's not growing. So, unless you need it, you may want to consider your numbers there. Once you hit full retirement age, you can make as much money as you want and you can get your full Social Security benefit. They no longer reduce it. So, that's why I said full retirement age is very important if you're still working and you're taking Social Security. Because that 23,400 number, that's pretty low. So if you're working full time, you're making more than that, hopefully. So unless you're working part time and maybe you're getting 20,000, then they wouldn't reduce your benefit. The break even analysis. Essentially, the goal with Social Security is try to get the most you can throughout your life. You are taking a bet on when you're going to pass away. And we want to look at this. There's a lot of moving factors, but one of the big factors is how healthy are you? Maybe how long your parents lived. How long do you think you're going to live? The break even is give or take around 80 years old. 79, 80, 81. If you're going to live to be 90, 95, 100, maybe you want to wait to take Social Security because you will most likely get the most there. If you're going to pass away at 73, well, I'd say let's take it significantly earlier. And no, this does not account for potential investment. So some people say, I want to take Social Security, then invest it. Yeah, then you would have to change the numbers there. This is just looking at just Social Security alone. Let's talk about Social Security taxation. Social Security is taxed different than most of your other income. What they do is they look at your total income and they do add back things that aren't normally taxed. So municipal bond income's a popular one. Then you have to say, okay, do I have work income, IRA distributions? Maybe I have a CD at the bank that produces income. You have to add all those together. And then if your income is over certain amounts, you begin getting taxed. So most people, 85% of their Social Security benefit is taxed. That does not mean 85% tax rate. That means that if you get, let's say, $10,000 of Social Security income, you get 1,500 of that tax free, and then whatever tax rate you're in, 8,500 of that 10,000 is taxed. It's a pretty low number, so most people do pay taxes. If you're married filing jointly this year in 2025, $44,000 or more of income, you're looking at 85%. Taxation at the state level is very different than the federal level. Many states don't tax Social Security. I mainly work out of Michigan. I know we don't tax Social Security. This is a very important piece when we want to claim, because if we can let Social Security benefits continue to grow, that's a little bit bigger of state tax-free income. Now, if you're in a state where they do tax Social Security, maybe you say, okay, maybe I won't wait as long. Maybe I will take Social Security earlier. So for us, maybe we do delay Social Security a little bit and then start taking out of, say, IRAs where it's fully taxable at federal and state. So you want to be aware, check your state. They're all different. Many of them don't tax it, but there's still quite a few that do. Strategic planning with Social Security. You're trying to get the most that you can. Make sure you're thinking on your longevity. You never know how long you could pass away tomorrow, even if you're very healthy, but it's something you want to consider. Spousal benefits. We didn't touch on spousal benefits at all here. You want to coordinate your strategies there. Does one file right away? Does one wait for a while? Because your Social Security spousal benefit can be up to 50% of the other person. So they either get 100% of their benefit or up to, depending on when they claim, and a few other factors, 100% of your benefit. Tax planning, for a few factors to consider. You want to look at this as one piece of the puzzle with everything else. So if you start taking Social Security, now you're claiming more income. So if you were living off of capital gains and you were in a low enough bracket where they weren't taxed as high, now it might be more taxed. Maybe you were hoping to do bigger Roth conversions. Well, if you take Social Security, that would fill up some of those lower tax brackets that you were hoping to convert in. What will your income be early on in retirement as opposed to later in retirement? Look, maybe some of my clients, a lot of them say, hey, when I'm in my 60s and 70s, I want to travel. I'm healthy. I want to do things. I want to take it now. When I'm 80, 90, I'm probably not going to spend as much. So I want it now. And then I will maybe spend less later in retirement. And then if I pass away early, well, my kids will receive the extra, retirement money, where Social Security would disappear at that point. The final one, Social Security funding. There's a lot of talk that's going on. Will it change? I do think at some point it's going to change. Do I think right now, if you're 65, are they going to change your Social Security? That would be hard to press to say, but I can't promise that. There's a lot of things they could do. We have seen Social Security funding beginning to run out. There's a lot of different ideas that we've discussed and looked at. Me personally, I think if you're 65 and above, or even 60, maybe even 55, I wouldn't expect it to look drastically different. Now, if you're younger, under 40, even under 50, I would expect it to change a little bit. But that some people say, hey, I don't trust it. I'm 62. I'm taking it while I know what it is. So a lot of moving factors there. Couple of things. It's just one of the big questions that we get that we want to implement when we look at retirement analysis. How much can we spend? Well, when are we going to claim Social Security? What will our taxable income be? Hope you found this helpful, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Let's make sure we're on the same page. This is general educational info, not personal advice. We don't know your goals or financial situation. Before making any decisions, it's always recommended to talk to a qualified professional who can tailor guidance to your specific needs after learning more about you. Here are some more exciting disclosures to help make this even more clear. This information is not intended to be a substitute for specific individualized tax or investment advice. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA/SIPC. Investment advice offered through Harborfront Financial Group, a registered investment advisor. Harborfront Financial Group and Custer Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial. Investment advice will only be given after a client engages our services by executing the appropriate investment services agreement. Harborfront Financial Group DBA Custer Financial Advisors CFA is a registered investment advisor RIA. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training, and the content of this communication has not been approved or verified by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or by any state securities authority. Custer Financial Advisors renders individualized investment advice to persons in a particular state only after complying with the state's regulatory requirements or pursuant to an applicable state exemption or exclusion. All investments carry risk. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect from loss of capital. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Advisory services offered through Harborfront Financial Group, CRD number 331763,